Hey everybody, welcome back to the ChatGTM podcast. Today is I don't even know what day is it, Chad. What's our calendar date today? Is it March something? March
More
13th.
importantly, it's a Friday, the week of
Yeah,
Murtech. So I
but
think we're a little nuts for doing this today.
see, he's ducking it. He doesn't want to say what today really is. What
I'm
else
not
is
going.
today, Chadwick von Dudenstein?
It is the 47th release of ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, now
So
fully
yeah,
optimized for public consumption.
yes, yeah.
How's it feel to be
AKA a
47?
birthday feels like a non-event, honestly. And that's how I'm trying to keep it low key today. But barring
Are
this
you
shout
new?
out
It's
on this,
me. It's not going to be
I
low-key.
know, I know. I'll roll with it. But yeah,
All right. Well, happy birthday, my my
thank
my
you.
partner in crime. I'll send a note to your mom if I can find her. Say thank you for giving birth to you and bringing you into our world because I know a lot of people are happy you're here. So
I'll send you a number.
I'm sure she'll thank you for it too. Yeah. So I'll call her on a caffeine fueled late night bender one night when I'm just up content cutting. So, well, let's pay attention to somebody else who's special today because this is somebody I admire from the industry. I've seen around quite a bit. I'll do a little read in and we'll join our not our new friend, our new guest, Kelly Grogan. And so for those of you who don't know, our today's guest is Kelly Grogan. She's built her career helping restaurants find revenue that most operators overlook. She's the founder of Crumbs, where she works with restaurant brands to grow sales through smarter catering programs, community partnerships, and local marketing strategies that actually move the needle. After years in the hospitality industry, Kelly has become a go-to voice on how restaurants can turn everyday opportunities into real scalable growth. Today, we're talking about the real playbook for restaurant revenue. Please welcome Kelly, founder of Crumbs. And if you're like this, oh wait, I was actually going to read the last of the ChatGPT prompt. Let's pull that one back. Now we know where it got from. But Kelly, welcome to the show. How are
Hi
you?
guys,
Welcome,
There's that
Cal.
part
what's
at the end where
happening?
that was all ChatGPT. I can't claim any of it. And if it was wrong and you're actually a surgeon from Dubai, I missed it.
Hey, that was pretty good. I'm glad he or she knows me pretty well.
Yes. So yeah.
Exactly.
You know what? Iconically, every time I think about you, you're wearing a green shirt. That's like what
True.
I've seen you wear green well. I'm sure you're probably not getting pinched on St. Patrick's Day.
I am out of uniform for today. Usually
I
I
know.
do have my
I
green
didn't get
on.
this.
Usually the month of March is dedicated to obviously Chad's birthday, but also St. Patrick's Day is just a mere few days, 4 days away. But
Yes.
yeah, no green today, unfortunately. But everything else, trust me, is green.
Okay. Well, Kelly, thanks for coming on the show today. I know that you have a number of things going on, your catering roadshow, the catering workshop, and I believe you have an event that is potentially happening down here in Miami pretty soon. But for the people that don't know your day to day, which is Crumbs, what is Crumbs? What's it all about? Who's it help? What do you guys do?
Yeah. So Crumbs is an agency dedicated to incremental revenue for restaurants. So things like catering, group dining, fundraising, local store marketing, and third party delivery. The things that we know are just sort of the extra revenue that's laying around that sometimes operators miss because they're so focused on the day to day and the customer that's sort of sitting in front of them. So we're a full service hands on agency. We do not sort of say, hey, here are the things you're supposed to do. And we're not a technology that you have to integrate with 15 different things. We are a team of hands on individuals that not only know what revenue will help your restaurant, but we actually go out and we get it on your behalf as well. So we're partnered with about 120 restaurant groups
My.
across the United States. And we work with everything from, your local pizza shop, coffee shop to large enterprise brands, all looking at, what are the unique ways or crumbs that they may be missing.
That was so punny. I love it.
I mean, they're endless, so watch out. You're probably going to get sick of them, but any chance I get, I'm going to sneak it in.
All right, I'm sliding in a quick dad joke. What do you call a nosy pepper? Chad, you've heard this one. It's the only good dad joke I got. Jalapeno business. All right. So
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one.
there's no good one, but thank you for saying it.
Hey, you gotta have it. You gotta have your like token dad joke, like ready to
Yes.
go on the fly.
Absolutely. Chad.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna ask a serious question. So, Kelly, I know one of your things is that restaurants generally need to stop treating catering like a side hustle and more like a main thing, a catering first approach. So, knowing that you believe that, how have you found it like effective to convince somebody they need to make that transition?
I think when you look at the revenue associated with catering and the fact that for some operators, they can have $1,000 in the drawer before they even open their doors for the day. And suddenly they've made their labor, they've made, a profitable day, $1,000, whether it snows, it rains, there's an accident, anything along those lines. I think that's the type of revenue that's attractive to operators. It's that guaranteed sort of built-in revenue that kind of makes things a little bit easier, right? You can take a breath on it. I think the other thing is that it is the greatest form of marketing, right? All day long, operators are told, oh, yeah, if you want to get people to know and love your brand, get them to try it. And so go out and sample in the community, go out and do that. And catering is the best way to do that, right? A catering order for 20 people, suddenly you've got 20 people that are sampling your brand. And so when you think about effectiveness and efficiencies inside of the restaurant, man, I would love to deal with one $500 transaction than trying to build it 20 individual transactions with different customers coming from different sources and all those things. So I think once a restaurant gets a taste of that revenue, pretty quickly it starts to become, okay, I want more of that revenue.
With that in mind, having helped operators and businesses develop catering programs, what are the things you're seeing them miss on a repeated basis, like the repeat offender items? Like, don't you guys know by now?
I mean, there's a laundry list of them. But, I think the biggest thing, catering
can't give
menus.
it all away, but
I know. But you know what? I'm happy to, because the thing is that you can tell people all day long and it's doing it, that's the secret sauce.
Absolutely.
But I think it starts with your menu. Your catering, everybody, thinks it has to be this expansive menu that is great for weddings, and you need chafing dishes, and it's got to have all these portions, and I need to take every single thing on my in-house menu and put it on the catering menu. Or if I don't have that, I need to come up with something for the catering menu.
Right.
I think, and then suddenly you get food that doesn't travel well. You get food that is something where the guest tried it at the office and then they come into the restaurant and they can't get that.
Yeah.
You get something that's not profitable, right? Taking a sandwich and multiplying it times 10 is not a strategy for building a catering menu. There's so many more pieces that go into it. And so I think that that's the biggest place to start, because that's what controls all of the other things that go into the catering program. You got to have a really good, solid menu that you can execute. That's something that people want, right? It's crave worthy. You get the guest experience, but obviously, most importantly, it's profitable. That's why we're all doing it, right?
Right.
Kelly, it sounds like people's natural bias is to put too much on their menu, from what I'm hearing. So I want to go the other way. What's an example of a menu that would be too limited for catering?
Too limited is, at the end of the day, you're feeding an office and you've got an admin there that is trying to order for 20 people. And if you've ever tried to please 20 people all at the same time, all in one singular luncheon, hopefully you may agree, it's really difficult to do. And so you need to have enough variety on your menu so that you can tap into some of those very specific segments that we know are prevalent in the industry right now. Think about things like, I don't eat meat. I've got a gluten allergy. I've got a nut allergy. I've got, I'm on a diet. I don't care what it is. But it's really important when you're looking at your menu that if you were trying to please 20 people all at the same time, how close can you get to pleasing 18 or 19 of them? And so not everybody sitting there wants a turkey club sandwich with mayo. Definitely no pickles. You don't want that on your sandwiches. But nobody wants just 20 turkey sandwiches all at the same time. And so do you have the variety in there? And have you built that out? I'd say the other important thing are the upsells that go on top of it. Man, if you've got a pharmaceutical rep that's ready to swipe their credit card and use up their budget because they need this client, give them the opportunity to add on a tray of cannoli, or having the sweet tea with cups and ice and lemons that come along with it. And so if you can execute that and still staying on brand, those are the easy wins that can make a difference and help raise your check average on it. So don't go too far, right? And make sure you're smart about it, but make sure your menu is attractive enough where you're going to get those easy conversions that come along with it.
Thinking about that in the same vein, you mentioned a moment ago before this about guest experience, right? And I have to imagine that first party is a little easier to control. Third party gets more challenging. How do you recommend that people deliver a great customer or guest experience through catering?
I would say two things. One, catering is a relationship-based business. So it is about being grateful for the customers that are choosing to place a catering order from you. Somebody that's saying, I'm going to spend $300, $500, $1,000 in one credit card swipe with your business, that's a big transaction. And they have a lot of options.
Right.
So if it's not a repeat customer, it's a new customer, how do you wow them and say, wow, I'm so grateful for your business? Because it is relationship focused. The better you make them feel, the more that they're going to continue to choose you on it. I think the second thing is, and we challenge all operators, go out and try and place a catering order. Try and place a catering order on your website. Try placing one on a competitor's website. And you don't even need to check out, just get close to it. And it is something that is such an eye-opening experience of like, if I was trying to place an order for 10 people, do I know what I would order? Do I know how many sandwiches this comes with? Do I know that this is going to be a side of rice and not 3 pounds of rice that's coming along with it? And so we are always saying, look at that aspect of it, of how easy is it for somebody to understand and know your menu? Because the easier it is, the more likely they're going to place that initial transaction. And when you have that relationship, that's where you're going to get the second, third, fourth, fifth order from it.
It's interesting. I was talking to Carrie Leo over at Shipley's Donuts, and they do a lot of catering business, it turns out. And they built an engine inside there that actually builds the boxes, and you need 3 dozen donuts that actually compiles and creates the actual order, so it takes that worry out of the people's heads, and also then does a calculus of how much coffee needs to go with that, and etc. Are a lot of companies and providers offering those kind of, here, let's get out of your head on what needs to be ordered and really help suggest a good mix for somebody?
It's so funny. Everybody in relying on technology and like online ordering was like, oh, if you do this, like your catering orders are going to go up.
Right.
And so I agree, providing that solution that somebody can go online and check out without ever speaking to somebody is a great solution to have. But to that exact point, if you don't answer the questions for the customer where they know what they're ordering and what they're going to get on it, it becomes very difficult to be able to do that. But on the flip
Sometimes they wanna
side
be
of that,
coached through it, like, what do you think, right? Or something like
totally.
that. Yeah, it's like a server experience.
Yes. And you know how like on, when you go into a restaurant, right, they've got the certain menu items that are, in this little square around it, right? And so it's drawing your eye to it. And I don't think we're there in catering yet. I think people are missing that. But to that point of, kind of having AI sort of pick it, right? This is our best options. When I love seeing that on menus of like the assorted or the chef's choice, because I don't know. And nobody knows your menu better than you would as a restaurateur. Nobody
Right.
knows what's going to be the most popular or what's going to travel the best. And so if you're going to put together an assortment of sandwiches, right, you know that by having 2 roast beef and 2 turkey and 2 tuna and 1 vegetable, you're going to get the perfect assortment for a group that may not know, but also somebody that doesn't know what to order on it.
Or you can be
And so
full
you're
of the room
making
full of roast beef people and you totally miss the order too.
totally. But you know
Yeah.
what? Somebody that's placing an order like that, they know they need a tray
Yeah.
of only roast beef, right?
Yeah.
But for an admin that's like, gosh, or a pharma rep, they don't know all 20 people inside of the office. And so they just need to wow and make everybody happy.
Right.
I personally, I hate making decisions when it comes to ordering stuff like that. So give me the surprises all day long. Give me the assorted, make it easy. It's less decisions. And gosh, it's less clicks when you think about it, right? We're constantly talking about in restaurants, how do you optimize the transaction? An assorted is the best way to do it. Otherwise, you got people, what do you mean I have to pick 10 different sandwiches and I'm not even eating all 10 of it,
Yeah, I can't even do it for myself.
No, what do you mean 10 sandwiches? In that chance, I'm going to order 10 turkey because I'm too afraid,
Kelly, what are the markers of restaurants? Probably a better way to put it, where if they're not doing catering, it's a crime. I'm thinking barbecue or, office dense neighborhood. But for you, someone who knows, what are like the biggest signals of restaurants have to do catering or they're just...
Yeah, I'll tell you, restaurants who say, oh, I don't do catering or I'm too scared of it or I don't want to do it. I bet they're doing catering and they don't know it. I bet they have people that probably on a Monday afternoon, right, lunchtime, suddenly they get this $150 transaction from a Grubhub or a DoorDash, right, that they had no control over. Somebody went to their website and ordered 10 individual cheeseburgers. That's catering, and you just don't actually know it. And so those restaurants that are too afraid to, it's about stair-stepping your way into it. Because the other thing is that catering takes time to grow. And while you may think that by onboarding with a third party marketplace, or by putting online ordering on your website, like, if you build it, people will come, they're going to come slowly. And so
Right.
you have to, kind of it's all about testing and feeling good about that menu to get started, but slowly building into it, it grows quite slowly. And it's important to keep that in mind when you're looking at your programs.
It feels like marketing is such a big part of that, about getting the message out about your catering program. What does good marketing look like for catering?
Yeah, catering is like the afterthought when it comes to marketing, and all marketers right now are struggling because there's so many things to be talking about, right?
Hmm.
We're talking about delivery, we're talking about rewards, we're talking about download the app, we're talking about our new LTO. And so I always say, for those catering teams that are out there, or anybody, you have to be selfish about catering, and make it a top priority in that marketing department, because it's little things that just help create the awareness. It's not a whole marketing plan. And quite frankly, it's not a whole marketing budget either. It is, okay, can we put catering at the top header of every single email that's going out? Or can we, instead of celebrating National Burrito Day with you get $5 off a burrito, can we say it's burrito packs and order 10 and you get 10 free, right? It's becoming creative with it. Having it in, one of my favorite that's like so overlooked is like, can you put a catering sign up in the bathroom somewhere where it's on the back of a door, it's sitting on the mirror where somebody's sitting there and spending time, like you could see it, look at it, and suddenly it starts triggering the idea about catering. I think the big thing when it comes to the marketing side of it, though, is that it's talking about catering without calling it catering. It's because people hear the word catering, and restaurateurs, right? We know it and we're like, oh, I know what that's 10 people. That's a large order. But your average individual that's out there hears the word catering and immediately thinks like white coats. They're at a wedding. There's massive chafing dishes. There's hundreds and hundreds of people. And so you need to kind of frame it to the guest that's looking at that is, birthday parties are catering. And so you could do a kid's birthday party and feed 20 kids. That's a catering order. It's, feeding a graduation, an anniversary. It's a funeral. And so you're not saying order catering for your next funeral. You're saying, right, we feed groups of any size for any occasion. And suddenly you're covered on that. And the guest starts thinking about it that way.
That makes sense.
So, Kelly, if marketing teams are going to, or of catering programs are going to advocate for their prioritization and budget to get the word out, they're probably going to need some math and numbers around this. So, like, what are the go-to numbers? And I would even say, in comparison to in-store dining, that you focus on to highlight the value of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's, when you factor that pricing in, when you're pricing your catering menu, it becomes a lot easier. I think a lot of people forget that and think that people just start ordering it or they're using a third party marketplace on it. But if you want to invest in your catering program and get it to grow, you want to associate a couple percentage points to that, So if you suddenly, just like when you're thinking about your main menu, if you're at, 3%, expect to get that 3% return on it. If you're at 5%, you're going to get that 5. I mean, so if it were me, I'm probably going to dedicate, 3 to 5% of my marketing budget because it's a priority for me. At the end of the day, I know that not only am I marketing and advertising for catering, but I know that by getting more catering orders, I know my brand is getting into more mouths. And so it is doubling as regular marketing. And so I think the statistic right now, and I'm going to butcher the number, but it is, I think 67% of people that try a restaurant inside or try office catering from a local restaurant end up becoming a customer of that restaurant. And so if I'm running a marketing budget, I'm like all day long, that's the type of revenue that I want to be going after, because I know if somebody's tried it and they like the brand and I can use catering as a distribution channel to get more new customers, that is a great return on my investment for getting it out there.
In line with that, back to the marketing side of things, I mentioned it before we started the podcast. How important is branding in your catering lineup, your packaging, your cups, your bags, all that stuff?
I mean, it's important.
Is it a gotta have or a nice to have?
If you've ever been in an office setting, or
Yeah.
I know when I used to be on like the corporate side of things, you'd get an email like, hey, there's leftovers in the break room. And you go in there and you're
Right.
like, I don't really know what I'm eating, but I'm going to scoop a plate. And if you don't really know what you're eating and you don't really know where it came from, it's a waste from a marketing standpoint. Like
Sure.
that catering order went by the wayside. because nobody knows where it came from and they're not able to say, I really enjoyed that sauce from that restaurant. I want to go there and get more of it. Or the next time they're like, hey, who do we want to order for the office? They can't even put a name to it because they don't recall who it came from. So when you think about it, it can be expensive to go all in on branding everything from a catering
Right.
perspective. And so our suggestion is that as you're sort of growing and scaling your program, like pick one component of it that's going to be highly visible, that people are going to see, that's going to maximize it.
Feels like it's a
So,
cup.
you know what? A cup is really good, right? Because usually those cups hang around afterwards and suddenly they're in the break room. People see them. You're walking around. You're getting that sort of like that free advertising out of it. I also love, exactly, right? Like, you know, there's a reason why they do that. You know, the boxes can be expensive, but I think the important thing about boxes too is that it helps on the food quality side of things, right? You're keeping the food warm. It looks organized when it gets
Yep.
dropped off and set up. You can position, and we were just speaking with a client about this. With a box, you control how a guest enjoys that catering order. So if there's like a build your own bowl, for example,
Mm,
you know they're going to start with the rice and then the chicken and then the toppings and then the sauces, and because of the way it's set in the box.
right.
If you're just sending it all in a bag and you get whether it's a delivery driver or an admin or you know the guy in finance that's like, well, I don't, you know, and starts ripping it all open, you get people that miss out on the key parts that make your brand unique. And so I love a box, but you can always do a brown box, right, that it can stay in, and you can put a sticker or a stamp or even just a
Stickers.
label on the outside because
Yeah.
people are forced to see it as they're walking down the line. I love a bag too because, man, somebody's got to carry that catering order in, right? And so even leaving the restaurant, it's walking into the office, it's walking into the
Everybody
building
in
and
the
setting up.
office watch the person trotting through with the bags,
Yeah.
right?
Walking billboard. A, they know
Yeah.
lunch is here and they're excited. But B, they're like, oh God, I'm so excited. It's, you know, coming from XYZ location. And bags help on, you can use them inside of the restaurant for other things. So it's not just like this one singular use case for it. It's something where you're using it in multiple spots. You're maximizing your investment on it.
Thank you.
Kelly,
It's like cutlery napkins. No thanks.
I'm imagining a restaurant and they know like some headquarters, a hospital that's near them, and they know they're not doing catering with them yet. What's like a cool strategy to get their attention and ultimately win that account? Or I don't know if it's a singular or plural in that sense, but how do they get in?
You know, the best thing is to offer free tasting in my eyes. It's I want to come drop off some free samples, right, for you and your team. That is calling the operators saying, "Hey, I was looking to just send over some free lunch." Nobody is going to say no to that. You'll get your foot in the door somehow. We've seen some other unique ways where I was talking to somebody the other day. She said she it's just so good. Followed another delivery driver there, like followed another restaurant's car into the parking lot. It was
Ooh,
like,
how
oh,
stalkery. Yeah,
and but like, hey, if you want to get that business, it's going to make a difference. You do it.
yeah. Be aggressive. Be
Exactly.
aggressive. Yeah.
But you know what? You got to be unique and you got to stand out. And so, some ways that we've seen doing it is by sending over that sort of personalized note. This is not a direct mail piece. This is not, you know, just sending an email. It is right during lunchtime. Do you know that people are ordering deliveries to that hospital, right? Do you see, you know, it's going to XYZ office or XYZ, you know, delivery address? Do you see that on maybe your first party ordering? And how do you be strategic around people that are ordering during lunchtime for delivery probably work in the area, right? There's a reason why they can't leave the building. And so how do you capitalize on that to say, okay, I'm going to put a little to go box inside of their bag with a note inside of it that says, I'm the manager. I'd love to make your next lunch free. Can you give me a call and we can set up a meeting, or scan here, which is the best, right? You want to make it stand out because if it's a box inside of their bag, they're obviously going to open it. They're going to be like, what is this? I didn't order this. And they look at it and suddenly you've got their attention. You're unique. This is not just dumping a bag stuffer in and hoping that they read it and take a look at it. So you got to be creative. You got to stand out.
I think I got kicked off our pod again. Am I still here? I'm
You're here?
Yeah.
I see you.
I feel like a senior citizen bed. Am I still here right now?
Right. Having a moment.
I do. I just had a birthday myself, and I'm Chad's elder about almost 10 years. So yes, I'm clunking along. So Chad and I were on the road about a week and a half ago, right around there. We were in Venice Beach, California, for Coco Robotics' launch of their delivery robot, the Coco 2. Do you see a place for that kind of autonomy in the catering world? Because catering to me is you bring it in, you put it on the shelf, you line up the cambros, you line up the chafing dishes, you put up your little signs. Is that too disconnected from the experience?
I think in some cases, you've got some operators that, they specifically request, don't set it up for me, just give it to me.
Mm,
And in that instance, if that means that their order is getting there on time and it's getting to them directly and they don't have to worry about, the person that couldn't find parking, that, then yeah, I do think there's a world. I think there are other worlds where people want that type of a service of come in and set up the luncheon for me because I'm doing a million other things. And
right.
catering comes in so many different shapes and sizes. And it's not just corporate, it's not just pharmaceutical reps. There's so many ways to look at it. And so
Yeah.
I do see that being a great option, especially in some of those unique settings where delivery may be trickier for a driver to kind of get in the building. If they've got a reliable robot that knows where to go and when to go, I think that that'll be awesome.
And follow-up question on that, for third-party delivery, right, where you have a company that's not even your own, that's delivering your product for you on your behalf, what are some ways or tips that operators could think of to provision and empower them or help them create a better guest experience when they go are doing those deliveries?
You got to make it personal. So many people, and I think we see this on the DoorDash and Uber Eats side of things of like, that's not my customer, but it is. And if you want it to be your customer, show it the extra love that it's looking for, right? Take the time to write a handwritten note so they know that it's coming from somebody, not a robot.
Mm,
And that's something we encourage, right? You see it, gosh, I swear, I think Olive Garden was one of the first groups that really did this, where the packing list, and it was your order was packed by Susie, and have a great day. And so I think that, operators that take the time to personalize, not I think the words humanize
hmm.
delivery and those third party marketplaces that, like, hey, I know you ordered through EasyCater, but there was somebody on the end of that order, right, that got it, that packaged it, that took the time and love to put into it. And like, we're here and we want to say hi and thank you, right? Show that appreciation. It's a really cool way to, I think, humanize catering and those third party marketplaces.
So I'm glad you brought up Easy Cater. I think people are very, maybe all too familiar between third party versus first party when it comes to Uber Eats, DoorDash, then their own right website, app, etc. How is that the first party, third party dynamic, pros, cons, different
Yeah.
versus in the catering world?
It's I swear we are like the wave that we went through with DoorDash and Uber Eats years ago, where people were like scrambling to figure it out, and then suddenly we had integration on it, and then suddenly we had marked up pricing, and then and people started to figure it out. I think we're starting to get there on the catering side of things. You love to have a marketplace that is using their budget and their advertising dollars, their staff, to go out and find you customers, right? We love that, especially when we don't have to pay up front for it. So suddenly you get a 20-person order from EasyCater and they say, listen, I have to order through EasyCater every single time. I can't order from you directly because my company has a contract with them. That is okay. Because what I would say is go back to, how do you get those people that are sitting inside eating that catering order to come to you on the weekend with their kids, or to order you for the soccer team, or to make sure that you're your favorite meal on the way home from work, or when the office isn't ordering, that they're ordering directly from you. And so that's where I think from a marketing perspective, it is critical to know that anytime you get an order from a third party marketplace, it's not about stealing that customer, stealing that order. It's how do I maximize that guest and
Mm.
those guests that are enjoying it. So do I have collateral in that in that order to get them to come to me directly? Do I have a flyer that says, hey, can you put this up in the break room and every one of your employees is going to save 10%? Or how do you make it special for that admin? So maybe she orders from you 3 or 4 more times on that third party marketplace instead of ordering only that one time and going to a competitor. And so it's really about connecting those dots and using them as an acquisition channel. But it's the same tactics, right? You don't have to put your whole menu on EasyCater. You can stick to just the most profitable, most favorite things and really use it as that channel to hone in on profitability and work smarter with them. And you don't need to go above and beyond to advertise on there. Again, let them spend their dollars to bring you the customer. It's on you to bring food that they want and crave all the time.
I'm going back to the sticker thing, and advertising and marketing. Are caterers or people that are doing a catering program incentivizing people maybe via QR code or something on that delivery to capture snaps or things that would work on Instagram, social proof, that fantastic that delivery, that beautiful bowl, saying if you scan this QR code and drop in a picture, you'll get for something off or something like that. Is that something that catering companies are doing, or is that just a silly notion?
Not enough, not enough, but they should. I want that. That is the big thing, is that it is about speaking to the customers that are sitting there.
Yeah.
And so if you could put a little tent card that says, right, if you snap a photo and tag us, we're going to send you a free $5 or your next burrito on us. Or, if you follow us on social or scan here to claim $10. We just did this other one where it was scan here for a free burrito, but they had to come into the restaurant. So it forced everybody that was working locally to come into the restaurant to show off your space, to get them to see it. And again, it is, I think the biggest misconception is when you're sending out catering orders is you want to market catering, right? Like 10% off your next catering order. Those people,
Right.
that's not what it's about. It's take those individual guests, get them to order directly from you.
Chad?
AI.
I knew it was coming.
How does that?
How can it has to?
How does AI factor in with catering, if at all?
So many different ways. It can help you with menus, descriptions. It can help you analyze your data. It can help you take people that are ordering catering from you and show you what zip codes are making the most sense, help you identify a new business park. It can help you identify key businesses in the area, fun things to talk about. Gosh, we love using AI in it. What we don't recommend is if somebody's calling your restaurant to place a catering order, it's because they want to talk to a person. So pushing them through that AI channel isn't the best guest experience. Same thing, forcing them to use AI to place a cater. It's a relationship-based business. I don't think we're there. I haven't seen technology that's been human-like enough where it doesn't end up being a frustration. And I think those orders are too valuable to say, hey, go talk to our robot, right? And not take the time to really own that guest experience. I don't think we're there yet.
One of your passions here is the catering workshop. I wanted to make sure we hit that before we got off. Tell us a little bit about what that's about, who should be going, when is it happening?
Yeah, it is happening October 7th and 8th, Arlington, Texas, on the coattails of the Fast Casual Executive Summit. This is something where last year we had about 120 operators in a room, and everything from a catering sales manager to a director of marketing, VP of marketing, owners, founders, you name it. And it is a day and a half, maybe a little less than a day and a half, of just those key sessions honing in on the things that build catering programs: marketing, sales, operations, finance, the things that you have questions about. You want to know what other people in the industry are doing, and so really real world tactics and conversations around it. So you don't want to miss it. It is something we had such an amazing time last year. It's going to be bigger than ever this year. There will be more confetti for those that were there last year. There will be air conditioning. That was a a fun one last year. But it is going to be just one of the best networking events when it comes to how do you grow and scale catering programs.
Confetti with no air conditioning just sounds sticky. Is
Still
there
picking
a
it up.
website they sign up on, or how do they find that or register for it?
Yeah, cateringworkshop.com. So it doesn't get
Boom.
any easier than that. Yeah,
Love
they can register, I think, before April 1st. There is a early bird promotion that they can sign up for. We're still bringing in speakers too. So if you have passionate about catering and you want to kind of share your story, definitely reach out to us. We're going to fill the room with the best of the best.
Awesome. Chad, one more question before we do rapid fire. I know you have to get on to your birthday day.
One of my favorite questions, Kelly. This is probably going to be hard for you to answer because just picking one thing. What do you enjoy? What aspect of what you do for brands on catering?
I love finding new customers and wowing them. Like for me, finding that person that's like that diamond in the rough hiding inside of this person's local community. And we reach out to them on behalf of the restaurant and they're like, yeah, and they low key say it like, yeah, I order, lunch 5 days a week. And I'm like, I'm coming to see you, right? I don't care where I am. I'm flying to you. I'm getting in your office. I'm going to wow everybody. I'm going to become your new best friend. And so I think it is just such a thrill for me and for all of the brands that we represent, those are the relationships that make a difference in catering programs. Those are the ones that everybody's looking for. They're hard to find. And so when you do, it's like winning the lottery.
Awesome. All right. Are you ready? Time for the hot seat?
Let's go.
All right. Here we go. All right. So here we go. Coffee meeting or lunch meeting?
Ooh, lunch.
Dine in or take out?
Dine in.
The most overrated restaurant trend right now?
Oh, pickles for sure. Get them out of here. Get rid of them.
Are you
I'm
a
so
cat?
sick
I
of.
think they're afraid of pickles too. This is the second time you mentioned pickles.
Oh, I hate that they are just like there's everywhere right now. And anybody that is like somewhat food related is trying to do pickles, and they're like they ruin things for me.
Chad, we're going to take her off the Pickle of the Month club that we're going to send her
Yeah.
for Christmas.
Get me out of there.
One restaurant that absolutely nails the guest experience.
Oh my goodness, there are, I mean, countless ones. I'm trying to think of where I was just. Bad Roman. This is one that I just went to in New York City on the Upper East Side, Upper West Side, I think. And I just went there and it was unbelievable. They've got these little pepperoni cups that you dip in ranch. There was somebody in our group. Somehow it came up that she has never done, I think she just had her 70th birthday and she had never done a tequila shot before. And like the server overheard us laughing about it and then showed up with tequila shots. And so like it was just, that intuitiveness obviously paired with great food, a great atmosphere. Right now they're crushing it. They are in definitely my top 10 right now.
Love it. One thing restaurants overcomplicate.
I'm going to say catering.
Okay. A city with an underrated food scene.
That's a great, I don't have a good answer for that.
Okay.
I'll have to come back to you on that
All
one.
right. We'll make sure. I'm going to get this from you. We're going to find out. All right. And last, if you were opening a restaurant tomorrow, what would it be?
A restaurant tomorrow, I would say I think the breakfast space. I think that is, I love a good breakfast brunch restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the most underserved sort of categories out there.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about like amazing breakfast burrito or eggs Benedict with like killer coffee, a scene, like, because whether you're working there during the day, you're going there for brunch on the weekends, a good breakfast is just something that I think is underrated right now.
Yeah. That's why I love Snooze so much. I mean, they have a smoked cheddar holly. I mean,
it's unbelievable.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
Jack,
Well, Kelly, you're
place in Venice. What was the place in Venice we went to?
Oh, Gajusta.
There you go.
Ooh.
Gajusta. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, Chad, I know you have to get going. Kelly, you've been so patient with us trying to get this call warmed up. You're always a joy to be around. One of the things that gives me joy is when I run into you, because you're always put a smile on my face. You just radiate energy, and there's this positive glow that comes from you that I think the people around you just go, ah, and they warm up on you. So, and that's a genuine comment. You're absolutely awesome.
I appreciate that. But it's mutual. Sure. We feed off of each other's energy.
Yes,
good people like good people.
Yes. And so if people want to talk to you, what's Crumb's website?
Restaurantcrumbs.com.
All right. And I believe you're pretty active on LinkedIn if somebody really wants to meet you or have a question. Is that right?
Totally. Love talking about catering. Check me out on LinkedIn. Make sure you follow our stuff and make sure you make it to Arlington, Texas in October.
Fantastic. We'll be there too, I believe. So actually, we will be there. I'm not going to short that and just say, oh, we may. We will be there. Well, for now, this is Kelly Grogan with Crumbs. This is the ChatGTM podcast signing off. And as always, random acts of kindness, sprinkle that stuff everywhere like sprinkles on a cupcake. You never know whose day you're going to make better. And for now, it's signing off, and we'll see you guys later. And Kelly, thank you for being our guest and being our friend.
Of course. Thanks, guys. See ya.